Hey everyone, welcome to the God Made Self-Driven Podcast. This is a podcast where we explore the transformative powers of faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun through the lives of everyday people. Rooted in a Catholic worldview, however, we welcome all people from different backgrounds in a spirit of unity, curiosity, and inspiration. And today I'm excited. I got a friend, been knowing him now probably 3 or 4 years. Met him at Reds when I joined Red Laurel's gym about 3 years ago. He's an amazing guy. He's a pillar in the community in Lafayette. He's a business owner of a couple of restaurants, which you'll learn more about. And so I guess before he was a business owner, he was a young man in South Louisiana. So I guess I'll introduce him. Shane Vallow, how you doing, my man?
Good, man. Appreciate you having me, brother.
Yeah. We'll kind of just get right into it, dude. I know you as the owner of, a couple of restaurants in Lafayette and whatnot, and someone that's taking their fitness very serious the last, 10 years of their life and whatnot. But before all that, before I knew you, you began somewhere else. Your story began somewhere else. So just kind of explain to us how you got to this point of being a business owner and whatnot, and where it all started.
Yeah, man. So first off, born here, raised in Lafayette, Louisiana. Actually, a triplet. I got that's a triplet. So I was three. Well, I got an older brother as well. So it's 4 bars in the house. You can only imagine how that was. We tore up the house. Did all the things we probably shouldn't have done. But I think I learned how to cook from my parents, because that was one thing that they did constantly. I remember waking up for school in the morning at 6 a.m. and my mom had a rice and gravy cooked on the stove because she had to have it ready for when we got back from school, which we would eat the meat out the pot there in the morning. So when we get back, it was just a gravy and rice. But really, I didn't think I wanted to ever become a restaurant owner or cook at that point in time. I just kind of, at one point, I wanted to be a veterinarian for some reason. Then I wanted to be, pretty much when I got to middle school and early high school, I wanted to be a football coach. Now, at that point in time, I didn't even play football. I just was watching it on TV. Yeah, I didn't start playing football until I got to high school, because my mom thought it was unsafe and too dangerous for her. So only reason that I got to play football because we lived on the same street as Como High School. And I was like, look, Mom, I'm walking to work out every morning, which is, the walk was 10 minutes. It wasn't nothing crazy. But we played, me, my brothers, we played basketball growing up, baseball. We did all that, and the cool part was we played on the same team. Like, if the teams knew, we played at CSA, and the teams, the coaches knew if you drafted one of us, you got to take all of us. So like, you drafting us, you got the first 3 picks. You can't, you got to have which I would like to say we were the best in the league. So it was good having us. But with that, we also argued a lot and fought. So like, there were times where we in basketball games where we would stop mid game and start fighting or arguing about stuff. My mom would come down from the stands, get over here, and But that was all the things that that made me tougher and made that love for them. At the time, we didn't really, we loved each other, but being brothers and fighting all the time, we didn't.
Competitive.
Correct. We didn't really like each other. We wanted to do our own separate things. But growing up with them taught me a lot. I kind of learned. I was a big mom's boy, so I did a lot of cooking in the house. I wasn't, at that time I wasn't outside all the time with my dad cutting the grass and all that. I was more in the house cooking with my mom. And I just learned certain things from cooking, but I still never truly loved cooking. Really going into high school, started playing football. I remember my first day going to I guess it was the first practice of football.
AKA training camp.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
high school training camp.
Correct. And my coach, he asked me at the time, he said, what position you play? And I was like, I don't know. I want to play running back. And I was at that time, my freshman year, I probably was 260. And not like a good 260, fat and, eating Hot Pockets, everything. When he laughed when I said that, I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? I can't play running back? He's like, you're going to play right guard. And at that time, I had no idea what a right guard was. I didn't know anything about the offensive line, none of that. I just watched football and, I just touchdowns. That was what it was. So when he said right guard, I'm like, all right, what does that mean? So eventually, he taught me in that my first year, my freshman year, I was one of the bigger kids.
Yeah.
So, it was, on first, I didn't like it because I wanted the ball. At the offensive line, you don't get the ball. So it was a little different from me, but I started to like it. I started to like be able to like. I was soft. I will say that. Like I mean, I wasn't the toughest kid.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of heart in fighting me because me and my brothers played in the yard with our neighborhood friends all the time.
Yeah.
You know, we tackled each other, did all that. But this was different for me because I wasn't getting the ball. I wasn't tackling. I was literally blocking people. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I like this. But I mean, I fell in love with it. And then that next year, sophomore year, I learned a lot from the year before.
Yeah.
It's the first time I actually started lifting weights as well, my freshman year in high school. Yeah. Never really lifted weights before that. And I remember just kind of like training and just saying, man, I want to be good. At that point, I was dreaming of playing at LSU and all those big things. And you know, as my sophomore year came out, I got a couple. They had me in a package for the varsity team that I played a little bit. And then my junior year, I became a starter, and then senior year, I became a starter. And really, the end of my junior year is when I got my first college offer, which was to Southeastern Louisiana.
Come on.
And at that point, I had no idea what Southeastern was. They invited me down on a visit, and I remember going down to Strawberry Field, and I was like, I guess this is okay, but this is not LSU. I don't want to play here. But it was my only offer that I had. I mean, McNeese offered me a preferred walk-on. You know, other places offered me walk-on spots, but I was like, well, you know, so I kind of waited to the end of my senior year. But when I waited, the coach called me one day and like, when I went to commit to him, I called the coach and he was like, oh man, you know, you kind of waited too long. We gave you offer to somebody else. So that kind of, I'm like, man, I shouldn't have waited. You know, all these thoughts going through my mind. I'm like, what is? So the next day when coach, it was actually Coach Desimo. He wasn't the head coach at UL at the time, but he was on HUD staff, and he came in and he said, look, I heard what happened. Sorry about it. We want to offer you a preferred walk-on.
And what year was this?
This was my senior year in high school.
So
2017.
2017, yeah.
And at that point, I was like, I called mom and said, look, can we afford to go to UL? She's like, what do you mean? I said, the coach offered me a preferred walk-on, you know. She's like, yeah, we can do it. So I was like, all right, coach. I committed to him that day. I was like, look, I want to do it. So from that day on, you know, I had excitement of going to UL, not knowing what to expect. But I remember going into my first day at UL, first day camp, walking into the facilities and seeing the guys, right? Seeing Kevin Dotson, Robert Hunt, these guys 6'6", 6'7", huge dudes. I'm like, bro, I don't think I can play. I don't know what I was thinking. And really, I mean, that first year, Coach Hudd was still the coach.
Yeah.
And it was my O-line coach at the time when I got there. I came in at 280, and he was like, man, you too small. You got to gain weight. And I'm like, nobody's ever told me this. All right, no problem. So I mean,
He said no problem.
Correct. At UL, we got these little core power drinks. You know the little core power.
Oh yeah.
So dude, I was drinking 2 or 3 of them a day. You know they're good. So I was just drinking them. He's like, I got to gain weight. I went from 280 to 325 in the amount of months, right? And when I got that big, fine, I couldn't move. I could barely move. I was not the player that I was when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So at the end of that year, I actually was getting ready to quit. I didn't want to play anymore. I just felt like, you know, going to college and seeing these things, and you see all your friends from high school who all have normal jobs, they live in their life, and you sitting here. Basically, football was a fraternity. You know, it's a job. You got to be there 24/7, and sometimes it's not fun. And at that point, it wasn't fun for me because I wasn't playing. I was in the practice squad. You know, I was doing all that. So I was getting ready to quit, and I said, you know what? This new staff coming in. That's when Coach Hudd got fired. I was like, let me give this staff a shot. So I remember literally the first day my new O-line coach came in, Coach Rob Sell. He looked at me and he told me, he said, "You're too fat. You'll never play for me." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's my time to quit." He told me I won't play, so I'm just gonna quit. So I remember literally I packed all my stuff out my locker and I was getting ready to quit. And some of my friends on the team told me like, don't quit yet. Some of the coaches that knew me, like, don't quit, give it one more shot. So I talked myself out of that one.
Wow.
Well, a little bit later in it, you know, it kind of came back around again. I just felt like, you know, the coach didn't like me at all. Not Coach Napier, but my O-line coach. I felt like he didn't like me. He was
position coach. Yeah.
I felt like he was very hard on me, and I was still kind of soft because I was a mama's boy. I couldn't take that hard coaching at the time. And I remember I tried to quit again, and this time, when my GA found out, because I was close with my GA, I told him, I said, "Hey, I'm quit, man." And he told the O-line coach, and the O-line coach was on recruiting, and he called me when he found out, and he said, "You trying to quit?" I said, "Coach, yeah, man, this is just not for me." He said, "Hold on." He hung up, and I didn't know this, but he called my mom, right after that.
No way.
So I'm literally packing up all my stuff, getting ready to leave the facility, and my mom pulls up to the facility, and she's like, "Where you going?" And I didn't want to tell her. I was gonna wait till it was all settled and I was done. And she was like, "You're not quitting." She said, "You're not going nowhere." She said, "Whatever you start, you're gonna finish." And literally, she made me. She was like, "You're not quitting. Like you're gonna finish." So I stuck it out, which I'm forever grateful for because I wouldn't be where I am today because of it.
Yeah.
Correct. But that taught me so much, in life of like, when you start something, not to give up, like where I would have been if I did quit. I want to be like my friends and had that fun life. I want to, where would I be? Would I just, having, I don't know what I'd be doing.
No, anywhere, yeah.
Correct. So like, I'm glad that my mom did that. And I'm glad that my coach even cared enough to even reach out to my mom.
And that was the same one that said you would never play for?
Correct. Because I think he started to see like a little more, but I think also at the time he's like, I'm not gonna let this dude quit. Because he also knew that I wanted to be a coach. So like he that's one thing he used against me all the time when I wanted to quit. He was like, "So you gonna quit on your players when times get hard?" That's what he told me, and that stuck with me because he's right. I mean, you're gonna quit on your players if you want to be a coach. You're gonna quit on them when times get hard.
Wow.
So more to come to that is that. So after that, I was like, you know what? I got a chip on my shoulder now. I'm gonna prove him wrong. He told me that I would not play because I'm too fat, so I'm gonna show him. In 2 months, I lost 55 pounds. And at that time, I was not a center. I played guard. And our backup center at the time was doing bad. He had bad snaps and everything going. So my O-line coach was like, when I lost the weight, he was like, "Okay, good." He said, "All right, now I'm moving you to center." So now I feel like another setback. I'm like, I had never
another position.
Correct. I was like, I've never played center before in my life. And you're gonna make me snap the ball? I'm like, all right, I want to quit again. Like I'm not about to do this. It's too hard, bro. I lost the weight. Now you move me here. But what I didn't see is that it was an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
And so I moved to center, and little I know I went from 4th-string center to 3rd-string center to 2nd-string center, and then at the end of spring ball, I started center towards ACL, right? This is my redshirt sophomore year. So he tore his ACL. And really, when it happened, I'm just like, oh man, they're gonna have to find a center. They have to get in the portal and find a center. I didn't think it could be me. I really didn't.
Yeah.
So when this happened, it was summertime. My coach called me in the summer, like when we were off. This was our off time. He said, "Are you ready?" I said, "Ready for what?" He said, "You're the next guy." "What you mean?" I said, "What you mean the next guy?" Like I still couldn't believe that I was gonna be a starting center here. I really. He made me believe so much that I couldn't play for him that I started to believe it.
Yeah.
So this was,
wow.
The changing moment of my life is when we came back from summer. It was we had our first team meeting, and Coach Napier and the staff the way they did it was I was in the room. It was team meeting, and he talked about. He's like, "Man, we got a guy in this room." I got the video on my social media, but he's like, "We got a guy in this room who lost 55 pounds in 2 months, is on the punt team, worked his way up from 4th-string center all the way to starting center, and today." We put this guy on a full ride scholarship. My family came from the top of the room. It was a crazy, like I wasn't expecting it. It was probably one of the greatest moments of my life because, again, I went back to where I came from, where he said I would never play, just from not even playing football until high school, and then all these obstacles that I went through, where I wanted to quit 3 times, and I didn't give up, and it was just like a testimony to say, I didn't give up, and now look where I'm at. Right, so that was just the start of the beginning, though. Right, so when that happened, I'm like, look, man. Now I gotta make a name for myself. Like I got this opportunity, I got the scholarship, but what does that mean? Am I gonna, did I do all this work just to get the scholarship and be comfortable?
Be done. Yeah.
So I then took it a notch further, man. I started to, get into my film more. I started to, because I was the smallest guy on the O-line, but I also wanted to be the smartest. Right, so
smallest and the smart.
Correct, because to be honest with you, man, a lot of those guys on the side of me, I had to tell what to do a lot of the time.
Yeah,
but that's okay. Right. That's my job as a center.
Yeah,
right. They helped me out on my blocks because I wasn't the biggest, and I helped them out where they were supposed to go. So I did a lot of film study. My coach that I hated at the time, my O-line coach, we became like tight. We became like really like almost best friends. Where I would meet with him every single day for about an hour, and we would watch film at some point in the day, and we would go through certain things. We created a relationship that I never thought we would have created. And I mean, I went from just being an average person to winning all conference all 3 years. That I was a starter. I started for 3 years. We won 2 conference championships.
Remember that?
I was a nominee for the Remington Trophy Remington Trophy. I was a nominee for the Burrsworth Trophy, the best center in the country.
The Burrsworth, you
Yeah,
really?
twice. So,
Dang,
um,
I didn't know this.
yeah.
See, but I knew you as the starter. I didn't know you pre-starting.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of saw the
Correct.
Facebook post. You know,
Yeah.
when you're a starter, you get more pictures, you get more things like that. But I
Correct.
had no idea
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
so,
what it took to get to that point, man.
Yeah. And if I would have gave up, I never would have seen none of that.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I carry with me the rest of my way is that, you know, if I don't like that's one thing I keep, and same thing with business. It's not easy. It's not. There's times where it's hard, man. There's times where I'm like, man, I just want to give up. But that's one thing I always look back at. Is like, okay, I almost gave up, and we don't know where I would be, but I didn't give up, and look what happened, right? So I take that same mindset to business, and I'm like, it's coming. You know, it takes time, especially with business. It's gonna take longer than the 3 years or whatever it took.
Right.
You will. It might take a little longer than that, but that's all right. I'm learning to enjoy the process of it all, and you know, just make the most of every opportunity.
Yeah.
But now to get into where cooking came from,
Yeah.
right? So while I was playing at UL, my junior year I started really cooking, right? Because I really was going to a bunch of, I was a big dude still.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
loved to eat, and I was going to a bunch of restaurants, and I really just thought some of the food was average, and it just wasn't good. So there was times where I would be like, I'm gonna make my own food at the house, right? So I would go find stuff. I would watch TikTok and see things. I'm like, I would take other people's menu items and kind of make them my own at my house, and make them more of a, you know,
whatever.
big bag type stuff.
Yeah, big bag.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
I started cooking, and one day I invited the O-line over to the house, and I cooked I cooked a bunch of meals, a bunch of different foods, but I wanted to cook burgers one night.
Yeah.
So this is how I came up with the quesadilla burger. But so I'm cooking burgers on the flat top, and I rushed because I'm last minute for everything, and I rushed to get everything. I thought I picked up some buns at the store, but I didn't pick up any buns. When I finished cooking the burgers, I realized there was no buns. So I'm like, and I'm telling you, all these old linemen, they 6'7" big dudes, and they ready to eat. I'm already late, so they were mad. So I go in the house and I see tortillas, and I'm like, all right, bro, we're just gonna make something work with this. I never did this before in my life, but we're gonna do it. I took the tortillas, put some cheese on each side, toasted them, took the patties, put them inside with some grilled onions and everything, and they was like, Shane, what is this? And I said, I don't know, but let's just try it, bro. Let's try it. And every single one of them was like, bro, this is one of the best things I've ever had. Like, this is something you need to open up a food truck. And I'm like, I'm not doing all that, bro. I want to be a football coach. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Let me, I was living with Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah.
We lived together for 2.5 years when we was in college.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't
Yeah.
know this. Okay.
So in our backyard, I mean, man, he loved to cook too. He was more of the rice and gravy type person. And I was more of the like burgers and all that kind of stuff.
Or like little caveat, like Elijah's from like my hometown, in the sense of like I'm from Abbeville, he's from Eraz, which is like 5 minutes from here. And check my refrigerator, it's pork chop and rice and gravy.
Oh, yeah.
Chicken and rice and gravy, steak. Right. I mean, that's what we do down here.
Correct.
You know what I mean? South of Lafayette. So
yeah, and he showed
cool.
me. He was the first person to show me what syrup sausage was.
Come
and
on,
now
man.
I'm addicted. I'm addicted to syrup sausage.
Oh, yeah.
I even started making my own. So
Wow.
Elijah was big on the rice and gravy. I mean, every weekend he wanted to cook. If we had an off day, we would cook rice. We would cook every Monday night because that was our off day.
Yeah.
We would cook every Monday. It was either him cooking rice and gravy or me cooking something on the grill.
Yeah.
So the next weekend after I cooked for them, I was like, let's just try. So I sold quesadilla burgers in my backyard. I put it on my Snapchat, put it on my social media, like, hey, we're selling these for $7. Come get them. I sold 75 within an hour. Sold out. And 75 quesadilla burgers. And that's when I knew, bro, I got something special. But again, I still didn't want to be a restaurant owner or anything. I just was like, if I ever do open one day or a food truck, that's going to be our special, quesadilla burgers.
Yeah.
Well, to go on, at my senior year, I did have one more year in football.
Okay, good.
But I didn't take it because that was our last year when Coach Napier left. We won the conference championship. And Coach Napier offered me a job at Florida. And this was my dream. That's what I wanted to do.
Oh, wow,
so
man.
Instead of taking my last year of football, I left and went to Florida. My first job there was a weight room intern.
Really?
Which I didn't want to be a weight room intern. I wanted to be, a ball coach.
On the sidelines.
Correct. So about a month in when I was a weight room intern, now moving over there, dude, I didn't make it. An intern is basically free. So that's so it wasn't making no money or anything. Wasn't what I expected. But about about a month in, Coach Napier came down. He's like, hey man, you still want to be a GA? And I'm like, sure, why not? I want anything to get me at the weight room.
Yeah.
So he's like, I got a defensive line GA position for you. He said the best thing that I ever did in my coaching career was switch sides of the balls than when I played. That's what helped him learn the most. So I played O-line. This was a D-line position. I was like, let's do it.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Correct. So I switched over. I switched up there, and honestly, I regret it
Come on.
because that's I won't say I regret it. I guess I just it made me see more, right?
Yeah.
Where I had no life at that point. Like when I was in the weight room, I was getting off at a certain time every day. I was there for a little while. I was good. I had a life.
Oh wow.
This point, I moved up there. I was there at 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day, right? Every single day, even Sundays. And I was like, bro, that's not for me. I can't cook no more. I can't do nothing.
Yeah, you didn't realize how much you love doing those other things.
Exactly. And it really wasn't coaching at this point. It was more of a business. It was more of recruiting and stuff that I didn't really like. I wanted to coach ball. I didn't want to do that kind of stuff. But this also helped me on my weight loss journey. It's when I started my weight loss journey after that.
Okay.
And, you know, so I saw that. And after the year, I quit.
Yeah.
And, you know, Coach Napier, we had a long talk. He didn't want me to quit. He told me that.
Yeah, he knew how valuable
correct.
it could be.
But I told him my heart just wasn't in it. I can't do it because my heart wasn't in it. I wasn't enjoying it. It's my first time ever moving away from Lafayette or moving away from family. I had nobody out there but the people I knew from UL.
Wow.
Right? No family, no friends. And so I moved back home. And
I didn't realize that.
I moved back home and opened up a food truck. That was my first thing. I opened up a food truck. I had a partner that it didn't go as planned because, you know, he had different vision than I did. So we parted ways. It didn't go. And then after that, after I parted with the food truck, I actually became a manager / kitchen cook at Daiquiri Supreme on Johnston.
No way.
I did that for 6 months. And really, that's my first time ever working in the kitchen.
Yeah,
ever.
kind of seeing, yeah.
Never knew, but that wasn't, I just did it because I wanted a job. And I mean, I thought it would be fun. I mean, I was working till 4 a.m. I wouldn't get off till 4 every night. So then at that point, I got hired on, I got offered a teaching job and coaching job at STM.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's more like it. I wanted to get back into coaching. So I accepted that job. I was a teacher for 1 year. I taught kinesiology and coached football and wrestling, which I love that. Did I like teaching? No, that wasn't for me. I can't sit behind a desk all day, and it just wasn't for me. So I taught for 1 year and retired. And I stayed
Like
when I left teaching, I still stayed coaching for the next 3 years. So that never left. But when I left, it's when I went and opened up. Well, while I was teaching, I opened up a catering business.
Okay.
Because when I left the food truck, I was like, man, I want to continue to cook, but I don't know how to do it. So I opened up a catering business called Sausage Bone Catering, which I still have now. And really, if it wasn't for STM, I don't know if it would have grew up like it was, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I started it while I was teaching, and STM used me for every event they could. I mean, every teacher event, every event they did with the school, every Lance with
Lance,
the ministry, every event they had.
Ministries, the men ministry, campus ministry, all
Campus
that.
ministry, I did every event they had, right? Lance was my first customer, actually.
Wow.
And, you know, he helped me through the process. He helped me through it all. We learned together. I learned different things. And really, he connected me with so many people that, you know, a lot of these people who own businesses started using me for their business meals, started using me for house parties, started using me for this. And it went to a point where I went from having like one catering order a month to having like 3 a week.
Cool.
Right? And I'm having to leave school, my break, and go cook, and then come back to school for practice and then do this. And it got to the point where I was blessed enough and able to grow enough of my business to be able to say, you know what, I'm done teaching, I can open my own. Wow. So I was cooking everything at my house at the time, and it got to the point where it was so busy that I couldn't keep doing that. I just couldn't keep up. So I found the location, my first location on Pinhook. And actually, the guy who owns it was one of the STM dads who reached out to me about the location. So when I got the location, I wasn't going to use it for a restaurant. It was going to be strictly for my catering because the kitchen was huge. And I'm like, this is perfect for my catering. That's what I need. So when I got it, I'm like, this is what I'm using this for. Well, you know, at that time, young and not knowing, I literally put all the money that I had saved into that building.
No.
Right? So I'm like, all right, this is not going to work. Catering not enough to keep the bills paid.
Come on.
So I was like, man, this place is a nice place to do a restaurant. Why not? So, but I did lease the place out to be a catering. So I reached out to the landlord. I'm like, hey, man, would you mind if I do a restaurant? He's like, absolutely not. Do what you got to do. I'm like, okay, cool. So I was gonna name it Sase Bon Cafe because that was my catering company. Why switch it up?
Keep,
You know,
keep the branding going. Yeah.
correct. Well, I met this guy, Jim Gosson, who basically became a mentor for me. But he owned a bunch of restaurants here in Lafayette and in Texas.
Jim who?
And Gosson.
Okay, gotcha.
And I met him one day, and Frank Randall as well. Randall's owner,
Yeah,
Randall's,
yeah.
met him as well. They came. I sat down with them one day, and he kind of told me, he's like, look, if you're gonna open up a restaurant, you have to have something different than everybody else, and you have to be known for something. What are you gonna be known for? And the first thing came to mind was quesadilla burgers. I mean, I made it. I know how popular it was. People loved them. That's definitely different. There's nobody else that does quesadilla burgers. That's different. Right. So I'm like, okay. He said, well, that's what you want to be known for? I said, I mean, I guess, yeah. He said, okay, well, it needs to be in your name. And so I'm like, Sase Bon quesadilla burgers? Nah, that don't sound right. He said, no, don't name it Sase Bon. I said, why? He said, because really, if you think about it, when people pass by, how many people know how to say Sase Bon?
Yeah, only
people,
us around here.
People not going to go somewhere where they don't know kind of how to say it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm like, okay. He said, name it after you. I said, no, I'm not naming it after myself, bro. I don't want to be known after myself. If something go wrong, it's going to be on Shane. I don't want that. He said, I'm telling you, Shane, your name is big here in this community. You play football here. Name after yourself. He said, I'm telling you, it's going to be popular. So I went back and forth with him like, dude, I don't want to do it. So one night I'm just, praying. I'm in bed until like 3 a.m. on Canva creating the logo. And I just messed around and I put Shane's Famous Quesadilla Burgers and I sent it to him on Canva. And he was like, this is it, bro. I'm telling you, this is it. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I just don't want to name that myself. And finally, I kind of grew to it. And the logo that I have now is the one I made myself.
No way.
And that's kind of how I started with the Shane's Quesadillas. Like, I was like, all right, we're going with it. It is what it is. So I went all in on it. I started meeting. This is new to me now because, like, on first I didn't have food distributors. I was getting all my stuff from Sam's. Hiring a staff, which I never did before in my life. Just going through that process of like health certificates, licensing, fire department. I mean, all kind of stuff that I didn't know you had to do was like, bruh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
It's a lot of work, huh?
Correct. So I remember the first day I opened the restaurant. I finally got everything passed, everything done. I remember I had my fire inspection the day of the opening, right? And good thing I passed. But that first day I remember opening, I had $5 to my bank account, to my name, $5 left in my bank account. Way. And I'm thinking,
do you remember the date and the day of it, like the date and time?
It was July 29th. July 29th of 2022.
Wow, man.
And I remember saying, if we don't make it this weekend, I'm gonna be in trouble because I'm not gonna pay my staff. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I just kind of believed in them. Like, man, it's it all or nothing. At this point,
how old were you at this time?
I was 23. Yeah, 23. So at this point, I'm like, man, I got nothing to lose. I don't have a partner. I don't have kids. I don't have anything. So if I lose, I mean, I'm just losing myself. I can always go back home and sleep at my mom's house, my dad's house, So that was my mindset. It's like, I'm just risking it all. Well, good thing we actually sold out of food that weekend 3 times. I had to run to Sam's and pick up food. I mean, people showed out. People definitely showed out. And that's kind of when I thought I had something special. Now, be honest with you, we made a bunch of mistakes. This is my first time ever going through this. Like, we were slammed. My staff was not expecting this. I wasn't expecting it. I mean, I was exhausted. I was exhausted. But I was also happy as well because seeing the sales and seeing everything, I'm like, we're gonna make it. So and at that time we did a lot of things that we changed now to help us run smoothly, right? Like we used to cut our own home. We used to make our own home fries in house, which I'll never do again because that is a process that it literally takes 2 days. You got to do it. So like we just couldn't keep up with them. And plus the type of fries and stuff we do, like people don't, them home fries, they get soggy quick when you load them up with mac and cheese, and we put mac and cheese on everything. So we learned a lot through that time, through the year and a half that I was at that location. I learned so much, so many different things. I remember one night early in the first couple of weeks we opened, I would stay there, and I don't know if I ever went home, honest with you. There's a couple times I fell asleep on my desk in the office. I mean, I remember one night it was 3 a.m. and I was cutting green onions for the next day, and I cut the tip of my thumb off cutting green onions. And I went to the hospital, got it sewed back, right back to work.
No, man.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I just saw how I was like, man, I gotta be there. Like, I didn't trust anybody else to open. I didn't trust anybody else to close. I didn't trust anybody else to cook without me seeing the food going out. I want it to be perfect, right? Yeah. Well, now I understand that that's kind of impossible. You gotta be able to trust, otherwise you wouldn't have a life.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
but we learned so much from that time. I made a bunch of mistakes. I mean, a bunch mistakes.
So would you say one of your hardest things was like delegation and like trusting? Just that
it still is.
still is one of your
Oh yeah,
hardest
it
things.
still is my hardest because I take so much pride in what I do,
Yeah.
and I know I know what to expect when I'm cooking, right?
Right.
So I want it to be the exact same as me.
Yeah.
But there's something that I heard. It might have been Mel Robbins, somebody who said, if they can do it at 70% as good as you, let them. Right?
Wow.
And that stuck with me because it's true. Nobody's gonna be a duplicate of you. Nobody's gonna be able to do anything that you do the same way you do it. It just is what it is. And I have to I have to tell myself that every day when I get mad at my managers, when I get mad at my employees for not
Yeah.
putting the burger on the plate the right way. That's how particular I am.
Yeah.
I just have to let it go because at the same time, like, they're not gonna do it exactly like I want to do it, right? I can get them close to doing it, but at the end of the day, when I'm not there, they can be doing what they want. All I really care about at this point is that the food's going out good, everything's being done right. The weight of everything is right, the portion sizes, the good reviews. That's stuff that I care about. Now, if we sit here getting a bunch of bad reviews saying the food tastes terrible, then that's an issue. There's something that's going on that I need to get back there and fixed. But to be honest with you, man, my first year and a half at the Pinhook, I was the one cooking every single day.
Wow.
You came a couple times.
I
You
know.
saw me there cook.
Yeah.
Where now, since I've opened in January, I've probably only cooked at this new location maybe, I'll say probably a total of 15 times.
And that's the one on Congress.
On
right?
Congress, yeah. And that's because I got a staff that I've taught. I got managers that I've taught. I got, we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot of staff changes. We've been through a lot of different managers. We've been through a lot of cooks and all kind of stuff. But we have a process now that it's a system. So, it just follows down the turnover in the restaurants are crazy. So it's a system you got to create so that it can all be the same, right?
And that's awesome.
And one of my biggest struggles was opening. So I'm big on just taking a risk, and when I see something, I want to do it now. I don't have patience, which I had to teach myself that as well. To slow down sometimes.
Yeah.
So when I saw this opportunity come up with the Congress location, I used to go to Smitty's all the time, and when I saw this place come up, I'm like, man, let me go check it out. And I went to check it out, and it was a mess. But I had to do so much work to this place. It was bad. It was in bad shape. But I saw a vision, and I was like, you know what? Why not? We outgrew our Pinhook location.
Yeah.
The parking over there was kind of bad. Why not? I think it's a perfect opportunity to move. We can add alcohol to the restaurant.
The menu experience.
Correct, because that was one thing people wanted us to have, right? So I was like, why not? Let's do it. Let's do it. So again, I'm back to that same spot where I put all money in. I remember again the first time I didn't think I would ever get open. Be honest with you. There was an obstacle every single time I got close to opening. My first opening day was in December of 2020. What were we in? 2024 of December, right? Of course, that whole month we couldn't open because there was this that was wrong. The fire suppression system, this was going on, right? So I'm like, all right, we'll open in January. And we got to open January 4th, but it kept getting pushed back because every time I went to open, something was wrong with the fire suppression system. Something was wrong with this. Yeah. And finally we get open, right? And it was a blessing. We got open, man. We were slammed. We learned a lot about that too because this was totally different than the last little spot.
Yeah.
Different time. Like this was a slam where I was not expecting. Which I should have, but I just didn't. Right. So 2 weeks in, we open. Finally get open.
Yes, I think I remember what you're about to say.
Yeah. We had that big snowstorm. Right. The snowstorm. I'm thinking everything good, man. I'm at home. This is the second day that it happened, and I get a call from the fire department, and they're like, "Are you Shane?" I'm like, "Yeah, yes. Hey, you got we have an alarm going off in your building that there's water." And I'm like, "Okay, give me 1 second." So I pull up my cameras, and right above the camera, I can see the water just shooting out of the wall. Just shooting out. Like it's coming out so fast that I'm like, I said, okay, I'm on my way over there. I got in my car, and I live on the other side of the bridge, so on the other side of Lafayette. And I drive, and I get to the bridge, they won't let me through. Because the bridges when they're free, they don't let you through. The cops will not let me through. I'm like, look, man, I have to get over. You don't understand. He's like, I'm sorry, we cannot let you through here. So I call the fire department back. I'm like, look, I'm gonna tell you where my spare key is. Can you go in and turn the water off? She's like, yeah, tell us what the spare key is. But by the time this happened, the place is flooded. The whole dining room is, flooded. So me, I'm looking at it like, bruh, another setback. Like we just opened. We finally are just opening, and this place is flooding, right? So I'm trying to stay positive, trying to stay, stay up, stay positive. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I remember just sitting there crying. I'm like, I just don't know what to do anymore. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be thinking it'd get worse than that, right? So a little while later, they said, "Man, you got another leak. This one's in the kitchen." So the bathroom in the kitchen is blowing out water from the sink.
Are you serious?
So it taught me a lesson that I should have, wrapped my pipes and stuff. There's something that I could have done. But being in Louisiana, when did we ever have anything like that before? So I wasn't expecting it. I really wasn't.
And then it's a pretty big building, so you would think it's insulated. I mean, you got a lot of equipment. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like you wouldn't think that a building like that.
Exactly. So I was just like, man, there's no way. So okay, so once everything slowed down, the ice melted and all that, I got over there. Got some of my staff over there. We squeezed all the water out of the building.
Oh my
and I had to get open as soon as possible.
Well, yeah.
Like I had to get open. Like I just couldn't afford to stay closed anymore. I got a staff to pay. I got bills to pay. I got to get open. So it took us a day, and the next day we finally got to open up again. And it was going smoothly. It was going smoothly. About a month later, I get a call one morning when my staff was opening up. They said, "Shane, we got here and all the food in the cooler." It was. I don't know if it was. Yeah, all the food in the cooler is hot. The cooler is hot. The walk-in cooler. I mean, this is $1,000 worth of food in here. I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Shane, it must have shut off overnight. Like it's not. All the food is done. We cannot keep this food as discussed." So I get over there. I'm like, and I see everything. I mean, there's no way we could have kept it. So that's $1,000 worth of food we had to throw away, and no walk-in cooler. And that's the biggest thing in our restaurant. We need that walk-in cooler. So another setback, man. I'm just like, at this point I'm thinking like, bro, this is not for me. I'm in the what's going on? Like anything else can happen. You know what I'm saying? What is it? Anything else can happen? Like what else can happen?
Yeah, well, yeah. Like
I'm like,
what? I know what you're saying. Like
yeah. I don't know.
It's got to be the worst thing that can happen.
Correct. And just keep going. And I'm like,
yeah.
But I don't know what to do at this point. I'm just like,
man,
this is, what should I do? So,
and let's just take a pause for that. Like the people out there that, think all these business owners make all this money and they got this easy life. Like this is the stuff, this is the real life stuff that you don't see. Yeah, you're going to enjoy your meal. You see maybe what they can provide for their families. But I mean, this is real life
it
stuff,
is, man. And, people, just as an entrepreneur, I'm not saying that restaurants are hard. In my opinion, I think restaurants is probably one of the hardest to be in business because it's a up and down thing. You know what I mean? There's
competing with so many people.
So many people, man. There's so many restaurants in Lafayette, and there's just so many options to go to.
Yeah,
so many good restaurants as well. Like,
that's right.
Like there's so many options you can go eat. So it's definitely tough, and there's the labor and the food cost is just rising every single day, man. I remember, dude, my food cost from the day I opened, my case of ground beef that I used to get was like $207 a case. Now it's almost at $500 a case for a case of ground beef.
Wait, what?
In the last 2 years. So like the food cost of everything is rising, and people just, people don't understand it, and one thing I never could understand. I don't think I ever will, is how people can give a local small business one opportunity, right?
Yeah.
But they go to a place, which I had nothing against Cane's. I actually love the Ty Graves store. I keep up with him. I follow him.
But you're just talking about on a commercial aspect.
On a commercial aspect of like
corporate aspect,
corporate, yeah. They can give these people, they can go to Cane's every day in a week, and Cane's can give them 4 bad meals and 1 good one, and then they're gonna keep going. But if I give them 1 bad burger or 1 bad experience, they're done with my place. Right. Yeah. And I'm not just saying me, it's all small businesses.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
which
correct.
I don't understand, because the small businesses and the local businesses are the ones
too. Yeah.
Correct. Like we're the ones trying to support each other. We're the ones that's here for a reason. We can go anywhere. Anywhere you go, you can find a Cane's or a McDonald's or but you can't go anywhere and find a Shane's yet.
Yeah.
Yet. You can't go anywhere and find. You can't go anywhere and find these local Laura's or anything like that, right? So like, I think that people just need to realize that they need to give grace at times. Like we don't sit back there. We don't sit in our restaurants and like, today we're going to give this customer a bad experience. No, we want the best for every customer. We want the best for. Now we know we can't please everybody. I'm not trying to please everybody either. I know not everybody. My food's not for everybody.
That's right.
But at the same time,
the experience can be
correct. And at the same time, I'm sitting there coaching my staff up to a way where I want it to be perfect every time, but they can't be, and it won't ever happen. There's gonna be mess ups. There's gonna be times where we give people the wrong food. There's gonna be times where the burger might be burnt. You know, and it's, I'm not saying that it's, you know, it does fall back on me because it's my restaurant, but at the same time, my staff is trying.
Yeah.
And there might be sometimes there's people in there who don't care and they're just like, I'm screw Shane over today, so I'm gonna give them a burnt burger.
Right.
I can't stop that, right? But at the same time, there's ways to go about it. Do I think that's right? No, I wouldn't want. I would be kind of upset too if I went to a place and the
if you
food
paid
came.
for a service and you didn't get what you paid for.
But guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go talk to the manager or whoever and say, look, I just had I don't want anything from it. Maybe if I can just get another burger. I don't want, you know, I'm not making a big deal. I'm not going online and make a bad review about you. I want to speak, you know, because I own a restaurant, so I understand it. But people who don't, you know, and people who like, there's times where, again, I take so much pride in when I do that. When I used to see reviews, I get so angry and mad when somebody like says your food sucks or this and that. That would make me mad because I know I'm like, well, right. But now I'm at the point now where I'm just like,
it's all good.
It is what it is. We cannot please everybody, and some people honestly are haters, right? And they might be jealous of what you got, or they might be mad because you know
not doing it.
Correct.
Or they can't do it.
All right, and they just want to find anything and everything to pick, right? And to make you seem like you don't know what you're doing. And this, but nobody knows. No, I'm not gonna say nobody knows, but a lot of people don't understand the courage and the strength you have to even take a step like this and open up
that's why
a business.
And that's kind of why I want to give you this platform and many other people, so people can get behind the scenes of business owners and professionals. And also know y'all human beings, man.
Yeah.
Like
we're just like everybody
25, 26-year-old putting all your finances on the line, your life on the line, you know, and hoping, you know, this takes off.
Yeah.
Like, you know how much, you know. So no, man, this is good, dude.
Yeah. And people, you know, people usually get out of their 9-to-5 jobs and want to be an entrepreneur because they think that they're gonna have so much freedom. Not at all, but it's 9 to 5. You go from a 9-to-5 job to a 24/7 job.
Yeah,
you on call 24/7. There's times where I got calls at 1, 2, 3 a.m. about something going on in the restaurant. There's times where I have to get up. I had plans to go to a game on a Saturday, and guess where I'm at? The restaurant, because I can't go. Right. So if that's what you get into it for, I mean, I just think you're into it for the wrong reason. I think eventually it can happen.
Correct.
Right. But it takes time. You got to build it. You got to build there. You got to trust, which is the hardest thing, man. I've been burned by so many people in the restaurant industry with employees, managers. That's just, it's hard to find trust in people who, you know, good workers. It really is. And especially in this industry, because you can't pay them the best. You can only pay them what you can afford. Right. And sometimes that's not the best of the people, and they just don't care. They don't care about you, or they don't care about your business. They just want to make a little dollar.
Yeah, they're trying to do the same thing you're doing, but in a different way.
Different way.
Yeah, a different way. They just say, "Hey, I'm going home, man." Like, you know.
Yeah. No. But man, none of that ever stopped me from continuing going. It actually motivated me to keep going. Right. Yeah. So now my other business that I opened up was the Mac Bar. So I actually found the mac and cheese bar. I found it when I was actually moving to to Congress. When I was moving Shane's Quesadilla Burgers to Congress, I found this building. I'm like, man, this is a good location for something. And I had this dream of mac and cheese because we sell so much mac and cheese at the Quesadilla Burger place. Yeah. I was like, I had this dream of doing, I love like Chipotle, Cava, Subway, things where you can build your own, because I was just that type of person. So I'm like, what about a build your own mac and cheese bar? Like a place where you can just build your own mac and cheese. How cool would that be? Something like I talked to the owner who owned that building. We came up with a deal. He hooked me up. And I was like, whenever I get the Quesadilla Burger place going, I'm come in here with the Mac Bar. So I sat on it for a while. You know, I did things slowly inside, kind of get it right. I had to do a lot to that place too. You know, we did a full remodel.
So I mean, I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing, like what has been like somewhat of your startup cost for like Shane's, and then now like this Mac Bar, like what? Yeah.
Oh, the startup cost for Shane's Quesadilla Burgers was way more than the Mac Bar, because the Mac Bar is a simple concept. The overhead is a lot simple. The rent is a lot simple. Yeah. The food cost is a lot simple. Whereas the Shane's Quesadilla Burgers, you got everything from, I'm putting it like this, right? You got everything from alcohol, food. Your labor at the Quesadilla Burger place is at least, you know, you going from, when we first opened, we had about 60 people on staff, right?
Oh, wow.
At my Mac bar, the most we've ever had was like 15 people on staff.
Okay.
And at a time on a shift, we've only had 5 people on a shift.
Oh, completely different model.
Completely different than 5 people is only the kitchen at the
Right.
Quesadilla Burger place.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
it's a completely different game
different
changer.
investments. Yeah, got you.
And honestly, the overhead, I mean, the concept of this one, if I would have did this one first, I don't know if I ever would have
Open up chains.
because I see how simple
doing
and
so well.
easier and
Yeah.
you know how
Efficient.
efficient it is and consistent it could be.
Gotcha.
But just like anything else, man, there's struggles with that as well. Struggles
Yeah.
with employees,
Yeah.
finding people who can be consistent, cooking
Yeah.
things consistently, making sure everything's right consistently. That's the hardest thing. Consistent is the hardest thing in this business.
Yeah.
But I opened this one up.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And you know, not knowing what to expect either. I just like this was a dream that I had. I'm like, why not try it? I mean, we got some good mac and cheese. People love mac and cheese. Why not try it? But again, I was like, you know what? I don't want to just do mac and cheese. People here like, you know, they want a little option
Bacon,
sometimes.
proteins.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I did potatoes, grilled cheese, and nachos as well. So you can do mac and cheese, potato, grilled cheese, and nachos, right? So honestly, we actually sell way more potatoes than anything else. So I'm glad that I added the potatoes in the aspect because we sell that more than anything else. But it's basically just like Chipotle. You go out and you pick your base, which is either potato, noodles, grilled cheese. You put your sauce. We got everything from Alfredo, our house cheese sauce, crawfish queso, and marinara. And then you pick your proteins. We got brisket, grilled chicken, pepperoni, meatballs, bacon, all that good stuff, pulled pork. And then you pick as many toppings as you want, like vegetables, corn, onions, all kind of stuff like that. And then you get it toasted. And my favorite part is putting the sauce on top. We got like a little sauce bar with a bunch of our sauce that we have: our Cajun ranch, sour cream, sweet heat, garlic parm, pesto. We got everything you can put on the bowl. And then, of course, one staple that we've been doing at the other restaurant as well is our bread pudding that we continue to keep doing. That's a killer for us.
Wow.
So open that place up. You know, when we first opened, it was the summertime, and we were slow. To be honest with you, I was starting to doubt it. I'm like, man, I don't know why I did this. It's slow. But again, I had to turn back to that college mindset where I said, you know what, I almost gave up, and if I didn't, I didn't give up, and look where it got me. So I'm not giving up. So one day I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna create a TikTok. I made a build your own. I made like a come with me and build a loaded Mac bar, a Shane's loaded Mac bar, and I did one of our most popular baked potato. It's called the Big Back, right? It's a potato with mac and cheese on top and grilled chicken, and then our hot honey and Cajun ranch on top. I did that video.
Hello.
That video went viral and got 2.6 million views. And after that day, for the next 2 months straight, we were slammed every single day. We couldn't even keep up. We ran out of food. Our sales were the highest they ever was. We had people driving from. Literally, we had people come from 14 hours away to come check us out. We had people coming from BR and
Come on,
people come from. I'm telling you, people came because this is a concept that nobody has had. So like, we had people coming in. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like every day, it was our line was out the door, out the door, and I'm like, wow. I made one TikTok, and then I just started making multiple TikToks, and they all started getting a bunch of views. None ever got past 2.6 million views, but that was the highest one, 2.6. And ever since that, man, it's just kind of been like this. And now I see a future, and I mean, I see expanding. You know, I got a lot of people who come from Baton Rouge that want us. That's like, hey, man, you definitely should put one there. So that's definitely in the future for sure.
Yeah.
It's a very easy concept to duplicate. Kind of like I would say like. Small sliders, every time you look, they open up another location somewhere.
Yeah.
It's kind of like something like that where it can be open quickly and the overhead and the concept of it is very simple. Whereas as a Shane's Quesadilla Burger person,
You got all kinds of moving
you got all kind of stuff you got to do to duplicate. Which again, that one's that's something that I want to duplicate as well in other places as well.
Yeah. But it just makes sense, like, not to. I mean, I have to because it's just part of who I am. Like bringing up scripture, like scripture says, when you're faithful over small things, I'll make you a leader over many, right?
Yeah.
But it just shows, man, like staying faithful in football, right? Gave you the mental fortitude to stay faithful with the Sase Bon, and then from the Sase Bon to Shane's famous quesadillas. Then even through Shane's favorite, even when you were handling like Shane's famous quesadillas, you were able to draw back again when you were faithful with the small thing of football, right?
Yeah.
And then now to the what is the name? You call it the Mac?
Shane's loaded Mac bar.
Shane's. Oh, so you keeping Shane's in the name? Isn't that funny? So now
I had to because
the Mac bar.
Because like it's just a run. I want people to know that it's
branded.
It's coming from Shane's. Like Shane's, it's still our mac and cheese.
I do want to ask, how are you there's guys, there's young men, maybe young women that are going to be listening to this and wanting to start a business and whatnot. And maybe it's intuition, maybe you have a formula for it or whatnot. How do you know what locations to pick, man?
Man, that's the hard one. That's the hard one. For me, I think there's a better way to do it. I think that you have to get more people involved. I think,
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't. I kind of honestly did a lot of this stuff by myself. I didn't.
Yeah.
Know. I know I'm a big name in the town.
Yeah.
But I didn't know many people to get in touch with to try to help with me, this
Stuff
kind
like
of
that,
thing.
yeah.
I kind of didn't know how to. I didn't know. Didn't want to. I wanted to figure it out myself.
Yeah.
Right. So literally, I just went off of what I thought could be a good location. Like
Yeah.
I remember the Congress location. I'm like, man, I used to go to Smitty's all the time. It was okay. I mean, but I thought the location, the Congress. I mean, there's so many cars that pass there every single day. I thought it could be a
right
good
on the
location.
highway. Yeah.
The one
parking lot.
the Mac Bar.
That's what I was.
I just
what
thought.
drew you? Yeah. What drew you?
Well, because being so close to UL, being right next door to the Bulldog, I just thought about a late night crowd. Who would right now? All there is late night is Waffle House, Taco Bell, Whataburger, Mel's, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing over and over that you got to eat in Lafayette. So I'm like, we're gonna do this, and I want to stay open late night on the weekends, so we can get that. Even if it's that
11,
Bulldog
12 crowd.
Well, first I stayed to 3 a.m. I changed that quickly because that just wasn't it.
You don't want
So right now on the weekends we stay open till midnight.
Yeah.
And we do get a good little bar crowd after they come to
Really?
the bar or before. And that's kind of what I want to create. But I also like my goal with this Mac Bar is to make it a college concept. I think it's a college food vibe. Like it's something that you would want to go get for lunch, right?
Yeah.
So my goal is and with the expanding as well is trying to get on the college campuses, right? Trying to get at least close by. And this one was close by UL. And me being at UL, that we can it could be something special. Eventually, hopefully, I can get it to the point where they can use their food card at Shane's Mac Bar,
Wow.
or get involved more with that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's still things I'm working on. But I do want it to be more of a college. I think both of my places are college concepts
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's a comfort food. It's a full meal every time you eat it. It's not something that which I thought old people wouldn't like my food because it's too much. But
Really? Then you consistent. Then you consistent with the product.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I mean I feel like it's more. I try to make it like a sports vibe, a college vibe, and that's kind of what I want to. That's my target audience is these college students, and so that's why I picked that location, and that one was close to Cajun Field as well. So I thought about like pregame, before the games, people going there. And now we got the Raging Cajuns Athletics Coaches Show on Mondays, so that's been good. And then the Mac Bar is right on the Mardi Gras route, so that's something that I also thought about as well. Is for Mardi Gras, that'll be huge for us. But man, that's just
awesome.
Yes.
I mean, that's someone out there, like they're gonna trust their gut. That's kind of what you did. You're trusting your gut. You're trusting what your recon work.
You gotta
I mean?
believe in your goal more than anybody else.
Yeah.
Like my core values is believe, create, inspire, and that's what I live by because if you're gonna start something, right, you have to first believe. If you're gonna create something, you gotta believe, and you gotta believe in it. There's many people who told me, "Do not open a restaurant; it's too hard."
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're not gonna make any money for first 5 years. This and that. And if I would have believed them, if I would have believed my coach when he told me I couldn't play for him because I was too fat, I wouldn't have played. Right? I would have gave up. So that same thing here. If I would have believed these people saying don't open, right, I wouldn't have opened and I wouldn't be where I am today. So you have to believe in yourself first, then you can create it, right? So once you believe, you can create it. And once you create it, my goal now is to inspire others to do the same, especially young entrepreneurs. Because nowadays, I saw a kid this morning on the news who's opened up a snowball stand right next to UL. He's 20 years old. He started when he was 16. He has 5 locations. That's awesome to me. Like I'm not jealous. I'm excited for him because this world needs more people, more young entrepreneurs who just take a risk. I think that's what most people are so scared about. Is because he's nothing against this older generation, but a lot of them discourage us.
Kids,
correct?
10% mutual funds.
And they discourage.
Nothing wrong with that.
They discourage the young people to starting business because they didn't start until they were 35 years old or whatever, right? And they're like, y'all shouldn't start either. You need to work until you can get to that point. Who says that, right? Okay. I think if you truly believe in something and you think it's gonna work, try it. And I think the best time to do it is when you're young because you got nothing to lose, right? You don't have a family, you don't have kids. 9 times out of 10 you don't.
Right.
And if you lose everything, you lose by yourself. You're not having to find a place for your kids to stay and your wife or whoever to stay. So I think this is the best time to do it. And that's my goal now is to inspire others just to take the risk. I mean, I think so much people are just scared to do it because they're scared of failure. But that's the best part about it. Like
Yeah.
if what's that saying? If your dreams don't
Scare
scare you enough, they're
not big enough.
Not big enough. And that's true. My dreams scare me because I dream about crazy stuff all the time. Like I dream about opening other stuff and I'm like, all right, Shane, slow down, bro. Slow down. But that Mac bar was once a dream. The quesadilla burger place was once a dream.
Yeah.
And it was big, it was scary. I'm like, but I'm gonna do it. Why not? And if I wouldn't have done it, then I wouldn't be where I am. So that's
awesome,
something that I stick to every day, and it's on my office wall. Believe, create, inspire. That's what I
believe,
live by.
create, inspire. Let's go, baby.
Yeah.
So you're 26.
Yeah.
Got 3 businesses. Shane's famous quesadilla. Shane's
Loaded Mac bar.
Loaded Mac bar.
And Sauce Bon Catering.
Sauce Bon Catering, man. Come on, man. Tearing up South Louisiana.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome, dude. Well, listen, we've talked about your resilience in sports and your business and whatnot. And I'll be honest, you kind of gave me permission to kind of speak into this before we got on here. But in the midst of all of that, you met a girl.
Yeah.
And y'all were engaged, right?
Yeah.
And then something else happened.
Yeah.
So when did you meet this?
So I met my ex-fiance when I was in college.
Okay.
I was a junior in college when I first met her. It was really, I would say my first real relationship.
Well,
the one
yeah.
I had a relationship before, but it was like a 2-month relationship. And it was the first girl I really kind of like, loved, and you know how that went. But during that time is also when I left for a year and moved to Florida, and she stayed back at home.
Oh, really?
So that was part of the reason also why I moved back home, because I was away from her. And then when I got back, me being young, I think this is where social media is just terrible, man. It's a terrible. People can use it for a good thing, but I do think
I understand.
it's
the devil's playground. To
correct,
a certain
and
extent.
it shows the fake side of people, the highlights of people's lives, and not the real.
Yeah.
And this something that kind of took control of my life is that all my friends were getting married, and all my friends were having kids and doing this thing. So it played a role in my mind, and it was a lust that I had to get. That I need to get married, man. Like, what am I waiting on? I'm 22 years old, 23 years old.
Yeah.
Like, it's time for me to get married. I'm getting too old. I don't want to.
Oh, what am I, man?
That's what the social media makes you think.
I know. I'm trying to give you a message.
So, man, I moved back home from Florida, and I'm like,
I've
been away for a year. I'm gonna propose to her. Right? Did I have the right mindset to do it? No. Did I have the right? Did I have the right intentions?
Yeah.
I don't think I did, honestly. And that's kind of why we ended, because I think I'm more of a rush the situation than really thought about it and realized what marriage was. But we were engaged for a year, and that's kind of when I kind of did a little more deep dive into what marriage actually meant.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was in it for the right reason. I was doing it out of lust of what other people had.
Yeah. Spirit of comparison. And
correct. And so like it was not like a bad breakup or anything. We still, nothing. She's an awesome person,
cordial and stuff.
Correct. But at the end, like towards the end of our relationship, I just felt like things was not going the way that I wanted to.
Yeah.
And that was very selfish of me, but I learned a lot from that time.
Yes.
I blamed a lot on her when really I look back and it was me.
Yeah.
I was so selfish with my businesses that I didn't make any time for her, and I made it look like that she didn't want to hang out with me, but really I was at the restaurant till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
When I did have time to go hang out with her, where was I? Maybe at Legends or somewhere else where I should have been spending time at home.
Yeah.
And she was very easygoing, and she really honestly just let me. Like, she didn't say, "Hey, you need to come home and hang out." She was kind of like, "Do you?" I mean, I'm not gonna, I think she was just didn't want to be that person to try to fix me or anything, right?
That's right.
So I got comfortable, and made mistakes along the way, and we just didn't. I felt like it wasn't gonna work out because I made excuses of why. Well, we don't want to hang out. She don't want to hang out with me. She don't want to do this with me. I was going to events by myself because she would work. She worked in the hospital. She worked 12-hour shifts. Yeah. She would come home when she was tired. She didn't want anything. She didn't want to go anywhere because she was exhausted. So I made excuses and like, well, you don't want to do this for me, and I would go do it by myself, right? Yeah. So that was my, I kind of, looking back, I'm like, man, I made excuses instead of trying to fix that I was the issue, fix my problems. And kind of just moving on from that, I just, got into another relationship, and that's when I learned a lot about myself, right?
Awesome.
That person pulled out a lot about a lot of my flaws that I thought,
Yeah.
you know, being somebody who, okay, we go back to playing football, right? Where I was just a superstar, right? You
Yeah.
know, I was a starter. I was
Yeah, you always, everyone knew you everywhere you went.
correct,
You
you know?
won this pose, that community.
Exactly.
Everybody looked up to you.
winning
young people.
awards,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. High achiever. Yeah.
correct, and that gave me that superstar, I guess.
Yeah. False sense of security.
Correct,
maybe.
correct.
Yeah.
And it made me think that nothing I did was wrong. Like I was the best thing. You can't tell me that I'm doing that I'm wrong for doing this.
Yeah.
You can't tell me this. And just like most people, like I'm human as well. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not perfect. I'm not special. I'm human just like most people, and I've probably made more mistakes than most people as well, right?
Yeah.
But that person pulling those things out of me, putting out my flaws, making me a better person.
Yeah.
Actually, it felt like an attack at times, right? It felt like an attack where it was more of like this person trying to change me, trying to fix me, but really this person was trying to help me become
Yeah,
better,
level
right?
up.
And because of that, right, I was big in the church, right?
Yeah.
And then when I started playing football, I stopped going to church, and
Yeah. I gotta go play football.
Correct.
I gotta practice.
That
I gotta recover. We've been busy all week. I need a rest.
Exactly. And I didn't take it serious,
Yeah.
but this person was big in their faith, and they got me back involved in church,
Yeah.
right? And that's the best thing that could ever happen to my life is,
Almost.
you know, last August I started going back to church, and I started going to the Bayou, and November that year I got baptized. Now, when I got baptized, again, that was one of those things where it was just like I want to make that change, but I didn't fully know what it meant to make that change. I didn't
Right.
commit myself enough. I was just going to church
Yeah.
every Sunday and thinking I'm checking that box off, right? I wasn't reading my Bible.
Yeah.
Still wasn't deep in it, not really understanding it, right? Just going to church, just going dozing off in church, on my phone in church,
Yeah.
worrying about other things, what I'm eating after church, right? Not really focused in on church, right? And I got baptized, and maybe for a week,
Yeah.
I locked in.
Yeah.
Maybe for a week, I started open my Bible for the first time ever.
Wow.
After that week, it was back to normal, right? Nothing really changed.
Businesses.
Correct.
Figuring out, grinding.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then later on in the relationship, you know, I made a couple other mistakes as well that led me to something where I said, you know, it's time for me to really lock in and you know, sit with myself and fix myself. Because I mean, I struggle with anxiety, struggle with you know, insecurities. I got a lot of insecurities. I struggle with confidence. You know, I struggle with all that kind of stuff, which I'm not afraid to talk about because, you know, that's what I had to teach myself to sit with, right? Because that was my issues, right? So
awesome.
finally, man, I met with one of the pastors and the care director at my church, and this is the first time I ever opened up to anybody. I mean, anybody, not even my dad, my brothers, anybody. I was always holding everything in, and that's one thing that I'm glad I finally let go because, man, when you realize that you let go. When you can explain to somebody else, especially another man, what you're going through and feel that is deep, man. It took a lot of weight off my shoulders, right? That's awesome. So I met with this guy, and from that day on, man, he hooked me. I said, look, I've been looking for a small group, right? But I don't know the right one. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. He connected me with. Actually, it was Easter Sunday. I saw a testimony of a guy. Who's actually my small group leader, but he was a guy who his testimony was, you know, you know, he came from sex, drugs, all kind of bad stuff, and he was now saved and a small group leader, and it was a small group for men in their 20s, and when he told me that, I'm like, this is perfect because I got invited to a couple other small groups, but it was all like men in their 50s and 60s. I just felt like correct. So when I found this group, I'm like, this is the one I'm joining, and again, not knowing what to do, I know. You know me, so you know that I'm not a shy person. But when I'm first meeting people, I don't talk much.
You know,
I kind of just
read the room, see what's going on.
So my first couple sessions, I join in, and I'm just quiet. I'm just listening to everybody, right? Just kind of listening, sitting back. And it's not one of those small groups where we strictly read out the Bible. It's more of like talking about what we're dealing with in our daily life, everyday lives, and you know what we struggle with and stuff. And that's what clicked with me and really saved and changed my life because. When I realized that everybody in that small group, it was 20 of us. There's 20 in that small group. It's called a small group, but it really is. Everybody in that group was struggling with something.
Come on.
And a lot of it was things that we all suffer with, right? That we all like battle and go through every single day. And a lot of them was things that I struggle with. So it finally made me realize like, man, like I'm not alone. Because this whole time I thought that
someone can talk into what's going on.
Exactly. And this whole time I thought that I was the only one struggling like this. I thought that I was the only one going through these things that I was going through. Until I realized that I wasn't. So then I started to dive deeper into it, man. I started to connect with some of the guys in the group, talk to them privately, tell them what I was going through, my issues.
Wow.
And then I really started to read my Bible. I remember the Bible that I got from my our coach when we was in college. He gave us the Bible. But the Bible that I had, man, I don't even know what version it was, but I did not understand it. I was like, so I did some research and tried to find I found the Living Translation Bible, NLT, and I ordered that one, and I started really reading, like, I mean, page for page, and I can understand it. It puts it in a perspective of everyday life, right? So it's like the Bible reading, and then under it tells you.
Today.
Correct. And dude, like, that has completely changed my life. But not just that, it's like I felt like that was a step for me, but it wasn't what God was calling me to do, right? I feel like he said there's still a lot more you need to give up, right? There's a lot more you need to give up if you want my full love, right? And so I remember, like, the first thing for me was I had to give up Snapchat. And that was one of the hardest things for me because, dude, I mean, I had Snapchat for years, and I'm like, bro, I cannot give up Snapchat. So my first thing was like, I just deleted the app off my phone, right? Well, 2 weeks later, guess what? I download the app back, and I'm like, okay. I felt like nothing was happening. I'm like, man, but I felt like God was saying, really delete Snapchat, not the app, delete it. That's one, you need to get rid of it. So I deleted my actual account, and I'm like, okay, so that felt good. That was a step for me. I'm like, I can't go back now. Right. I mean, I'm gonna have to create another account if I download it back. But now I don't even have to want to. Like, so it's gone that I'm just like, right. So I still felt like there was more. I was like, what else, right? I was never an alcoholic or anything. I did like to drink, right? And when I drink, sometimes I drink a lot, and I make terrible decisions, right?
Got you.
So I felt like that was one thing as well. He was like, you need to not saying you can't drink, buddy, but you need to slow down. Right? So that's one thing that I've given up as well, man. And like now I don't even allow myself to drink like hard liquor or anything. I'm just, I try to stay away from it completely. And I find myself not having those desires anymore because it's like I gave it up for good, and like, God's keeping me straight ahead, right? And that was just two big things that I had to give up that showed me, like, the more I gave up, the closer I felt like I got to God.
Correct.
And
you're making more room for him in your life.
Correct. Correct.
The more things what you focus on is what you become. So like that makes so much more sense. Keep going.
Correct. Well, so then my next thing was like, all right. It just kept getting better and it kept feeling better. The more, so I'm like, wow, what else? What else? What else can I give up? So I gave up. I'm like, man, I really need to clean my mouth up. I curse a lot, and sometimes I curse for no reason. Like, we'll just be mid talking. I'm like, dropping the F-bomb and all this. I'm like, why? And so that was a struggle for me as well. It still is. Sometimes it's some slip. But I'm so intentional about the words that come out my mouth now. I think before I say things now, where in the past I'm just like, so that was one thing that I gave up then. And I'm so intentional. Like, I'm catching myself now around other people, telling them, like, why are you cursing? What was the point of you cursing? Go back to what you just said. Why did you say that word? Like, and I'm like, it kind of feels good because I'm like, man, I'm actually challenging, others now, right? That's awesome, and now I'm at the point where, like, so I gave that up. I gave that up as well, trying to clean that up as well. I even, like, now I feel like I can help others as well who are struggling where I was, because again, people see the social media posts and they see the outside world, but they don't see that we all go through the same things, right? And they might think that I got 3 businesses. Oh, he got it going, bro. He got nothing wrong. He's great. That ain't true at all. I got my own struggles as well, right? And if it wasn't for God, that I would be nowhere where I am today. To be honest with you, if I didn't, go on this journey and like now, man, like, I look forward to, like, meeting with my small group every week. I look forward to, like every morning, me and a couple guys in the small group, we text and we ask each other, how today? How's your struggles going? What can I help you with? What can I pray for you for? What can I do? And now I feel myself like we connect at different events. We connect with people. We've invited a bunch of people to church. It's like, and it's not that I'm, I guess it's in a way of like, I just want you to feel and get a taste of what I got, right? Because I'm telling you, the fruit is amazing, and you just need to get a taste of it, right? And I think for me, like, when I first started going to church, I was nervous. I didn't know. I walked through them, especially at the Bayou. It's a big church. A lot of people. I sat straight in the back. I mean, literally, the guy was trying to walk me in the front. I'm like, nah, I'll sit right here. And for a while, man, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I'm just like, as soon as service ends, I'm getting right out. I don't want anybody to see me. And now, man, I sit in the front, and I go to 8 a.m. and it's not because I'm trying to.
No,
but it's because I'm so intentional about where I want to be. And
your body, your actions are telling the world something about what you believe in.
Correct. And just that part has made me realize so much more about life. Like, it's also helped me with my health journey as well. Like, like I said, I was 325 pounds. I'm now 215.
Come on, say that one more time. Say that slower.
325, now 215.
Hey man, anything is possible.
Yeah, no, and people laugh and they're like, man, how you own 3 restaurants and you 215? I'm like, I don't eat my food, and I really don't. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't eat my food. I mean, I meal prep every week. I stay at the gym. You see me at Reds all the time.
Yep.
I got a new hobby, pickleball. I'm loving that.
Yeah.
But that's
That's
also
awesome.
helped me also stay in the word, man, stay healthy, putting the right things in my body. And because of that, it's taught me more about like I'm actually eating and doing things that I need and not what I want.
Come on.
Right? I think a lot of people do things out of what they want, right?
Yeah.
They might like, of course we all want some, well, not everybody, but some people might want a drink, right?
Yeah.
But do you need that? No, not
Yeah.
at all, right?
Come
Like, do
on.
you need to eat Taco Bell? No, you
Yeah.
don't need it. So there's certain things that I've learned along my journey with
Yeah.
this path that I'm on, and really I'm just beginning.
Just beginning,
It's only
baby.
been
You're just
since
beginning.
Easter, so that's
Yeah.
what, 5 months, right?
Yeah. And when you talk about like your health and then God and your prayer life, it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes, if not top 5 quotes of my life. It's by this guy named Saint Augustine. It says, "Work on your body as if you're gonna live forever, and work on your soul as if you're gonna die tomorrow."
Yeah, it's
And
true.
it's one of my most favorite quotes. But I feel like that's like been such a big part of your life, and what you love, like you get joy
Oh
from
yeah,
doing that, and
oh
like
yeah,
you want to keep getting better in both those areas of your life.
correct.
So like, yeah, I mean, keep going. I don't
Well,
want to cut you
and
off.
I enjoy it because people don't understand. It's like, man, Shane, you're skinny enough. Why are you trying to keep going? I'm not trying to keep going. I'm
No,
trying to maintain,
yeah,
because you don't know how it felt to be 325 pounds. And I don't ever want to go back there. So that's why I do what I do, because I don't want to get back to where I was. I feel amazing.
yeah,
It's not even about the looks. It's about how I feel right now. Like there was times where I couldn't even bend over to tie my shoe without being out of breath.
yeah. Wow.
Right? I couldn't get out the
Wow.
bed and walk. I couldn't walk without being out of breath. I had to sit down for a little while. That's how big I used to be. And now I'm at the point where, man, I can get up, start running, and do this. And I sleep. That's the biggest thing that I've seen since my weight loss is my sleep. Right? There were times where, dude, I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning. There was times where I couldn't breathe in my sleep because I ate so much before I went to bed. Whereas now I have no issue sleeping because of the meals that I eat. I eat a couple hours before bed. I eat healthier meals. I'm not eating,
Yeah.
Chipotle
Yeah.
right before bed like I used to. So that's just all part of the path that I've
life
been
of
on.
Shane, baby.
Yeah, the life of me, man. But it's
Yeah.
definitely been a journey. And I look back and I'm like, man, I'm grateful for every bit of adversity that I had, every challenge, every fail,
Yeah.
even the good ones, the bad ones.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for everything that happened, because without those bad things that happened, honestly, without the adversity and the setbacks,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am today, because that taught me so much. Without me wanting to quit 3 times, I wouldn't be anywhere right here today. I wouldn't be sitting here in this room, because you
Every
wouldn't know
time
me.
you'd run into an obstacle, I kept thinking back of that
Yeah.
football
And that's what I
situation.
do in my mind. It's like every time something happens, like it's gotten to the point now where if
It's
something
on
bad happens,
autopilot.
when something bad happens at the restaurant, they're like, Shane, yeah, the oven broke, man. What we gonna do? I'm like, okay, we'll call somebody in. They're like, everybody's panicking. They're like, Shane, why? I'm like, for what? What we've been through? Our walking cooler went out, our building flooded. This is just the oven broke. That's fine. It is what it is. We're gonna get it fixed. Don't worry about it. Keep cooking. No, seriously. And
Yeah.
the thing is that if they see you panic, right,
Yeah.
what they gonna do?
Panic.
They're gonna panic. Right now, everybody panicking. Now it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
Right. So like that's things that I think about. Is like, I've been through the toughest times. Not saying there won't be anymore.
But you have
But I've been
a
through
history of overcoming.
correct. I kind of built that foundation on that,
Yeah.
and now it's just time to build the house brick by brick. And that's the foundation that I'm glad. Like I'm glad for every bit of adversity. I'm glad for
Yeah.
the lessons that I've learned, because I look at them all as lessons. I don't think they were failures. I think they were all lessons to get to where I am today, and that's just something I got to build off of.
And I think one other key, key thing about you, and sometimes it took you 10 days, sometimes it took you 5 months, sometimes it took a year, but you were always willing to be self-aware.
Yeah.
You always were willing to look at your situations and yourself and eventually find out your fault or how to get better from it, right?
Yeah.
To the point of when you being engaged and then like you recommitting and like, why did I get engaged? Can I be honest with myself and say, this was maybe the best decision for both of us? Like for you to face all those then to the businesses and to the next relationship and then your relationship with God, like where am I lacking? Well, I just committed it to him, but am I really living for him now?
Yeah.
So like I think self-awareness is just is a big key to everybody, men and women, because we have so many blind spots in our lives. And if we don't take a second to look at the man in the mirror or the woman in the mirror and really try to see where those blind spots are, we can ruin opportunities. We can get into the wrong opportunities, and we can miss opportunities.
Correct.
And so, man, I want to salute you for stepping into the arena.
It ain't always been there. It took me a long time to get there. I would say the last couple of years is when I've been able to, sit with myself and say, now I can sit with myself. I can take criticism. If somebody tell me that I'm doing something wrong, I used to jump back at him like, no, you're going to tell me I'm doing it. Get out of here. Now I'm like, okay, all right, now I need to figure out how I'm going to fix it. And now I can sit with myself and say, like, Shane, if I come off to somebody in a bad way, I can sit with myself and say, Shane, hold on, why'd you come up that way? There's a reason. Like literally, I got mad a couple weeks ago at one of my managers for not doing something, and I was getting ready to send them a mean message, not anything crazy, but just like
very direct.
Like
just
and
maybe when
I deleted it. Like, why do that? Right? And I sent back and said, hey, let's have a meeting tomorrow. Right? Which for me, I was big on like, I hate confrontation, right? And I was more of a person who just like, let me text the person what I feel, right? Because I don't want to have to see them and face them face to face. Now I'm trying to be intentional about not doing that and saying, you know what, let's meet face to face, right? Let me tell you how I feel face to face. And if you like that, I mean, if you don't take it well, that's okay, right? But I'm gonna tell you face to face, and like God says, do it in privately, right? I'm not gonna call you. I'm not gonna call you out in front of everybody, which I used to do. Like I used to be that way. So like I understand. Scripture has changed my life because I'm reading those things and I'm applying it to my life now. And that's what he says. He says do it in privately, and they can take it however they want, right? If they like they like it or not, or if they don't like it, that's on them. That's right. But I like
giving them that respect and that dignity they deserve and taking it private. No, I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, listen, usually I get the person to kind of close out with their favorite quote or verse. I mean, you've given us a few things throughout your life, but if there's just one more thing you can leave them with, maybe a favorite movie quote, Bible verse right now you clinging to, or just
so I'll leave you with a verse and a quote. So my verse is going to be Proverbs 27:17. As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. It's tattooed on my body because that's something that I've always believed in. Like, we can't do this alone. Like that's one thing I learned as well. Like joining my small group, like it's so much easier to fight with, like God said that two are better than one, right? And it's so much easier to fight a battle with knowing you got somebody else in your corner and with more people than to do it alone. Because I've been in the place for a long time where I fought them all alone and I never won, right? And you get to the point where you're fighting with other people and people who have like minds, your brothers in Christ, and it's like you can't be defeated anymore, right? So that's huge for me, and that's the reason I got it on my body as well. But my favorite quote is, "If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you." And that's in my bio because, most people put stuff in their bio and they don't really live by it. But like, it's something that I live by because everything that I've been through has challenged me. And it goes back to, I say it every time, it goes back to playing football when I wanted to quit. It was so big of a challenge that at first I wanted to quit and give up. But if that challenge I didn't follow through, it wouldn't have changed me. It wouldn't have made me where I was today. I would have continued to be soft. I would have continued to be an average person. I would have continued to not open a business. If I would have listened to the people who said don't open it because it's too hard, that's a challenge. If I would have listened, then I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be sitting in the room with you. So that's what I leave everybody with.
Amen, man. Well, I appreciate it, dude, and I guess I'll see you at Shane's Famous Quesadillas soon.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, man.
Yep.